I'm your host, DJ Skip, and you're listening to Foundation After Midnight Radio, the only radio station broadcasting from within the Foundation during these sweet, sweet midnight hours. I'm coming to you live from an undisclosed location, but regardless of whether it's midnight where you are or not, I invite you to listen in for announcements, warnings, and important happenings. So let me be the first to say, welcome to the Foundation. It's that time of year again when the Foundation hires on a bunch of new personnel. Not that it's a set thing, but it always seems like every year there's an influx of new recruits coming in about this time, so we here at 93.9 FAM Radio wanted to make sure we properly welcome you to our humble, world-saving organization. You might have been brought in because you were at the top of your class, the brightest in your field, or maybe you saw something you weren't supposed to. Something beyond explanation. You tried to bring attention to it, but you were laughed out of good standing. Now, in disgrace, you have no choice but to work within our clandestine organization, protecting the poor, unsuspecting masses as well as the fools who mocked you. Whatever your story, we're happy to see you here. To make sure you're all up to speed, we're going to take this time to explain some essential bits of information about the Foundation. So let's start with the big one, shall we? What is the Foundation? The Foundation is an organization committed to housing the strange and unnatural by whatever means necessary. It's a thankless job, but without us, society would crumble, the planet would fracture, reality would be undone. Or worse. Now, we have a recording from the administrator that I heard when I first started here. Just gotta blow the dust off the old tapes. I'm just kidding, everything's digital. Recording.
Mankind in its present state has been around for 250,000 years. Yet only the last 4,000 have been of any significance. So what did we do for nearly 250,000 years? We huddled in caves and around small fires, fearful of the things that we didn't understand. It was more than explaining why the sun came up. It was the mystery of enormous birds with heads of men and rocks that came to life. So we called them gods and demons, and begged them to spare us and prayed for salvation. In time, their numbers dwindled and our numbers rose. The world began to make more sense when there were less things to fear. Yet the unexplained can never truly go away, as if the universe demands the absurd and the impossible. Mankind must not go back to hiding in fear. No one else will protect us. We must stand up for ourselves. While the rest of mankind dwell in the light, we must stand in the darkness to combat it, contain it, and shield it from the eyes of the public, so that others may live in a sane, normal world. We secure, we contain, we protect.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Secure, contain, protect. That is our simple motto. We secure the anomalous and remove them from the general population for everyone's safety. We contain to minimize their effects on the outside world, or sometimes the outside world's effect on them. And we protect. We protect the world from the harmful effects of the entities within our walls, even at the cost of our own lives. We are the last bastion of security in a world where natural laws rapidly break down, monstrosities that would kill every living thing. We also hold amazing constructs and entities that could just as easily elevate our very existence as they could fry our minds. We are why the world continues. Next up, we have a recording that properly covers the full mission statement and operations of the Foundation here. So, please enjoy.
Operating clandestine and worldwide, the Foundation operates beyond jurisdiction, empowered and entrusted by every major national government with the task of containing anomalous objects, entities, and phenomena. These anomalies pose a significant threat to global security by threatening either physical or psychological harm. The Foundation operates to maintain normalcy so that the worldwide civilian population can live and go on with their daily lives without fear, mistrust, or doubt in their personal beliefs, and to maintain human independence from extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional, and other extra-normal influence. Our mission is threefold. Secure. The Foundation secures anomalies with the goal of preventing them from falling into the hands of civilian or rival agencies through extensive observation and surveillance, and by acting to intercept such anomalies at the earliest opportunity. Contain. The Foundation contains anomalies with the goal of preventing their influence or effects from spreading by either relocating, concealing, or dismantling such anomalies, or by suppressing or preventing public dissemination of knowledge thereof. Protect. The Foundation protects humanities from the effects of such anomalies, as well as the anomalies themselves, until such time that they are either fully understood or new theories of science can be devised based on their properties and behavior. The Foundation may also neutralize or destroy anomalies as an option of last resort if they are determined to be too dangerous to be contained. Foundation covert and clandestine operations are undertaken across the globe in pursuit of our primary missions. Special containment procedures. The Foundation maintains an extensive database of information regarding anomalies requiring special containment procedures, commonly referred to as SCPs. The primary Foundation database contains summaries of such anomalies and emergency procedures for maintaining or re-establishing safe containment in the case of a containment breach or other event. Anomalies may take many forms, be it an object, an entity, a location, or a freestanding phenomenon. These anomalies are categorized into one of several object classes and are either contained at one of the Foundation's myriad secure facilities or contained on-site if relocation is deemed unfeasible.
SCPs, followed by an identifying number, but also sometimes they're called Scpf for short. They are generally classified as safe if they can be locked away without issue, Euclid if they need to be more actively monitored and secured, and Keter if they present a threat even in containment and require the utmost security and surveillance to keep them in containment. In order to contain each Scp, special containment procedures make up a list of necessary materials and protocols that must be followed to properly keep it safely tucked away. You'll learn some are more well known to personnel, while others are much more obscure, rarely referenced at all. They are strange as they are numerous. Keep in mind that they are to be treated equally, which is typically neutrally. Regardless of what they are or what we know of them, getting too close to an entity or even loathing one can negatively affect your ability to make rational decisions regarding their containment and the protection of those around you. If the Foundation were a body, its bones would be concrete and metal cells. The organs are the deadly shadow people, living cars, hellish nightmares, and cheaply made children's toys. They must be kept inside the body. The personnel would be the skin, the muscles, the lifeblood. The squishy yet important bits. From the Guardian security forces to the noble researchers, we, the people, are the Foundation. Researchers lead in the understanding of anomalies, testing their strengths and weaknesses, lighting the way for better containment procedures, and safer handling of Scps. Security teams are our first line of defense, protecting from dangers within as well as without the facilities they patrol. Mobile task forces are our sword, reaching out and cutting down dangerous entities and bringing them in for the world's safety. Dealing with anomalous beings is very dangerous. And while we have the latest technology, sometimes you need a human set of hands, eyes, and ears. Often literally, because some of these will only respond to human matter. This is where D-class personnel come in. Though not here of their own free will, they serve an important role just as well. Usually death row inmates, these men and women are repaying their debt to society by giving their lives to the progression of science. They may be human guinea pigs, but damn it, there are human guinea pigs. And they help us to keep the dark at bay one way or another, unknown to the outside world. I also wanted to take this time to mention that all personnel, including you newbies, are welcome to join the Inter-Site Intramural Softball League. This season starts off soon, so teams are filling up. Will you be on the Site 19 Staring Statues, the Site Redacted's Unkillable Lizards, or the Site 103's Landmine Cacti? Hope to see you on the fields. Now, while not required viewing material, some media that I may recommend to new personnel would include Cabin in the Woods, John Dies at the End, and Torchwood, to name a few. A complete list of my personal recommendations can be found on my blog. For any of those who are interested, we can talk about that later. Now for some FAQ for everyone listening in tonight. I've got an old recording from an orientation I did a while back. Going to just tackle a few of the frequently asked questions here. Okay, since we...
Welcome to Foundation After Midnight, the free Foundation radio show broadcasting globally, transcending site boundaries and clearance levels to bring you the latest news and happenings here within the Foundation. Not midnight where you're at? Well, it's midnight somewhere, and that's where we're broadcasting from. A quick shout out to all my researchers, security guards, D-class personnel, agents, and the rest of you working the late night to early day shifts within the only organization that keeps our humble planet spinning properly. I'm your host, DJ Skip, and you're listening to 93.0 FAM radio. And this is the mimetic kill agent to weed out those of you who don't have the proper clearance level to access this channel. Still with us? Good. In recent news, the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Temporal Anomaly Research Development and Integration Station will commence tomorrow. The center will aid in the understanding and utilizing of time and space-based anomalies and paradoxes. Construction is expected to be completed last year. The days since containment breach counter has once again been reset. Don't worry folks, we'll get to those double digits one day. Let's see. We have a big announcement here. I am excited to inform you all of the successful first launch of the Foundation space program. As I may remind you, this was a new direction for the Foundation, which has in the past maintained that secure, contain, protect is the way to handle anomalous objects. The discussion on the topic over the years finally reached a boiling point at last year's meeting when 058 declared, here it is, fuck it, go ahead, we just don't care enough anymore, launch them all into the bleeding sun, we give up on containing this mess. The first of many skips sent out into space last week have just passed the planet Mercury, and within the next 5 minutes will reach their scheduled final destination of our sun. As voted upon unanimously by the administrators, the first launched was SCP-682, aka the Unkillable Lizard. Researchers believe that with the cold of space, the extreme heat and immense gravity of our sun, we will finally finish off the foul beast. From those of us down here who have lost someone we knew to the damn gecko, we just wanted to offer a special goodbye. Say hi to the sun. Don't forget to write, we hope it hurts ya, you scaly son of a bitch. Listeners can let us know which skip they'd like to have launched into the sun via the Foundation space program by giving us a call at 512-937-2346. A quick note to female personnel new to the site. If a dog enters the women's showers and or locker room, simply steal his glasses. He's not allowed in there, and he should know better. Researchers are reminded just because they consider their assigned subject to be, quote, cliched, boring, or overdone, they are not to leave their post for any reason. Also, venturing off facility during research hours is not permitted, even if it's just to run to that smoothie place at the strip mall, more so if said persons do not bring back smoothies for the rest of the department's staff. Once again, the overseers wish to remind all that Site-78 does not, nor has it ever existed. There is no Site-78. Anyone who says otherwise is a liar and should be reported to the appropriate department head, because they are liars. A potential anomalous subject sighting has been called in. Apparently, a very well-known and jolly holiday entity may or may not be flying around the northern hemisphere due to a young a certain young Bixby. Researchers assigned to the individual ask that staff please reference the approved fairy tales and children's stories before conversing with Bixbys in containment. Mobile Task Force Little Helpers have been assigned to track down the big red fella. Good luck out there, boys. Stay frosty. We are just receiving an update from the space program. All right, let me see here. We have confirmation. The first transport will be making contact with the sun's surface in T-minus 4, 3, 2, 1, and touchdown! The first skip has made contact with the sun. The next few transports are scheduled to make contact at varying times this afternoon. The transports will be carrying a number of Euclid and Keter class artifacts and will never again be plaguing humanity. Please note that a number of solar flares are expected for this afternoon resulting from the launches, and you should not be alarmed if there's any disruptions of today's broadcast. Today is truly a great day in history, folks. A day you'll never be able to tell your kids, but, well, it's truly a great day indeed. And now, here is Azura on 93. And their track, the SCP Foundation main theme. And we're back. Now for our small and infrequent but nonetheless beloved Sports Corner. We have an update on the Intramural Softball League. Site
Redacted.
Unkillable Lizards are facing off against the Site 19 Staring Statues this weekend. After their close game that went to overtime with Area 2's Toasters, fans are wondering if the Unkillable Lizards will prove to be as unstoppable as their names. To whoever has repeatedly put up flyers about an official Foundation Bring Your Daughter to Work Day, we ask that you please stop. All personnel are advised that such event will never be scheduled, and anyone telling you otherwise is misinformed and is encouraging unsafe workplace activities. As such, they should be reported immediately. Shenanigans like this can only end in disaster, folks. An update on the status of SCP-682, 671, and the other anomalous objects launched into the sun. Our instruments are reading it is still alive somehow. I mean, come on, we knew that bastard wouldn't go down easy. Let's see. After contact with the sun, reach temperatures of yada yada. Here. It appears the subject had been adapting to the heat of the G-class star known as Sol well before reaching its surface. It broke free from its transport, and while it was unable to escape the gravitational pull, it was able to adapt to living in the vacuum of space. Thankfully, it was unable to interfere with any of the other transports before they reached their projected destination. Okay, we are also getting reports that a ticking sound can be heard from viewers who look directly at the sun. Those exposed to the phenomenon claim that it sounds like the ticking is counting down to something and fills them with a horrible sense of dread. Exposure to the sun should be avoided at all costs until this anomalous activity has been properly understood and contained. Man, from the way these are coming in, it's a good thing we didn't launch that miniature black hole like originally planned. Or the sun parasites. That could have gotten bad. Let's just get
Thanks for listening, everybody. FAM Radio is written by Kyle Stover and Toad King 07, aka Eric Stover. Produced by Toad King Studios, the voice of DJ Skip is done by Kyle Stover. Content is of course based off the SCP Foundation and is released under...
Welcome to Foundation After Midnight, the free Foundation radio show broadcasting around the world and into space. That's right, we know you can hear us up there. Anyway, we're bending time and space and clearance levels to bring you all the newest updates from around the Foundation. Not midnight where you're at? Well, it's kind of hard to tell if it's day or night with all the anomalous activity going on, but it's definitely midnight here. I'm your host, DJ Skip, and you're listening to 93.0 FAM Radio. And this is the mimetic mind-wiping agent to weed out anyone who doesn't have the proper clearance levels to access this channel. Can you still remember your name? Glad to hear it. To start things off, we'd like to remind everyone that since Protocol's fallen, global quarantine is in effect. All non-essential resources and personnel are being reassigned to site teams. Teams will be focusing on the various ongoing sun-related cataclysms threatening the world and how to best solve them. In an effort to raise morale within the Foundation, higher-ups have been allowing groups to choose their own team names. So far, Team Mechanical Masterminds of Math has had the most promising brainstorming, having the most concepts to be confiscated and classified by higher-ups out of any group so far. Reports have come in from the Foundation's space program about a new satellite mass that has appeared just beyond the Earth's moon. It seems during the space program launchings last week that the shuttle that was transporting 237 self-replicating Keter-class cakes exploded on its way to the sun. So we have good news and bad news. The bad news is that it's been growing at an exponential rate, nearly doubling in size every day. The good news is that this broadcast is coming in clearer as the cakes have been absorbing the increasing solar flare activity. Via Team Golden Comet's proposal, a unique crew has been sent to the surface to investigate, comprised of D-class personnel who have exhibited exceptional skill and cooperation in the past in the consumption of cakes. They have been tasked with exploring options in stemming its growth and have been fittingly dubbed Team Death by Chocolate. Well, I can't say I envy the D-class personnel, but that does sound delicious. An update on the whereabouts of the damned hard-to-kill reptile. With its newly formed solar wings, its current course will have it passing Venus in the next few minutes, likely continuing its trajectory towards Earth. Yes, the scaly fucker really wants to come home. If anyone has any suggestions on how to secure and contain the space lizard, your team has about 1 week to submit your ideas. At this point, everything barring throw it back into the sun will be accepted and considered. Good try, Team Naisuse Nickel. While construction for the Temporal Anomaly Research, Development, and Integration Station has only been underway for a week, exciting new reports have already come in from the station. Unfortunately, no researchers have been assigned to the station yet, so the reports are being investigated for authenticity and will not be released to the Foundation public at this time. Oh! This just handed to me. All site personnel are to be on high alert. A suspicious person of interest may or may not be wandering around the facility, and the person in question may be disguised as a member of staff, or an anomalous entity, or maybe as a cat? So far, no one has been able to record the individual or produce any evidence of the encounter with it, and everyone who claims to have seen the suspicious person seems to have trouble recalling anything about it at all. So if you see someone wandering around that you do not recognize, or have trouble remembering, or can't remember, or they are a cat, or all these things, please keep a visual on them and try your best to report it as soon as possible. Further updates will be announced as details come in. Though, don't hold your breath. As you all know, or may not know, I am a lover and supporter of the arts. With that, the IT department would like me to remind you that DVD copies of the test recordings from SCP-630 are still available for $50 a pop. Yes, that is right. You can now personally own a recording of the spontaneous and often hilarious song and dance routines and musical performances acted out by various members of personnel, including such favorites as Agent Lament,
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper soul jars and warm cotton mittens, pebble assassins and old mattress springs. These are a few of my favorite things.
Professor Bjornson.
Look at this, Skip. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think the containment's complete? Wouldn't you think we're the site that holds everything?
And Scruffy the janitor.
Anomalous do-do-do-do-do. Anomalous do-do-do-do. Anomalous do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Just talk to any member of the department or send an email to the usual IT help contact. New videos available every month. Cash or money orders only. It seems tempers reached a boiling point when a food fight got out of hand in the staff lounge yesterday after a research member, whose name has not yet been disclosed, kicked SCP-294 for dispensing coffee that he claimed was too cold. When the researcher ordered another cup with a request for hotter coffee, 294 proceeded to rapidly dispense hot coffee in what many witnesses described as an agitated manner, splattering the surrounding area. While the offending researcher was able to avoid the coffee spray, a nearby personnel was caught in the crossfire and mistook the action as some sort of prank. Apparently, in response to the imagined insult, they proceeded to throw their own drink into the face of the first researcher. From there, the two began to order liquids from the vending machine and throw them at one another. Drinks, and we're using that word lightly, mind you, recorded during this exchange included, but were not limited to, cola soda, soy milk, Everclear, skunk musk, gasoline, dog feces, though I'm sure much more colorful language was used at the time, and a yet unidentified gray fluid that when exposed to skin causes yellow boils to appear. All personnel involved were taken to medical and reprimanded accordingly. From now on, 3 guards of security clearance level 3 will be assigned to monitor the vending machine at all times. We'd like to take a moment to remind all of our listeners that when facing off melting the face of every person in the vicinity. Thankfully, we all know better now. If you have access to outside media, you may have heard some of the cover stories for the unforeseen consequences of the Foundation space program. We wanted to take this time to clear up some of these facts that have been planted by the Department of Disinformation. For starters, while we do advise you avoid exposure to the sun, it will not give you sudden cancer or extreme cases of blindness. All the doctors in those commercials are paid by the Foundation. Also, though anxiety and depression are on the rise, the cause is from direct exposure to the sun or from a subsequent lack of natural light from avoiding the sun, not from any financial recession, nuclear weapon tension, or the systematic deconstruction of our social communities. Those are fabrications by the Office of Misdirection. So good job, guys. You almost had me on those. And lastly, it should be known that no asteroid has collided with Mercury and the planet has not fractured. The random eclipses that we've been experiencing have been from anomalous activity involving the sun, not chunks of planetary debris. For the time being, all faculty engaging with the general public should maintain that Mercury is to be removed from the modern star charts. Between all the craziness with the sun, we still have news from our infrequent sports corner. The Softball League games have continued as scheduled, and in an upsetting turn of events this last weekend, Site Redacted's Unkillable Lizards lost to Site 19's Staring Statues with a score of 11-15. Site Redacted's fans were livid, or would have been if it weren't for the evacuation of the stadium due to another intense wave of solar flares lovingly sent to us by SCP-682. I think that Site Redacted will likely be considering a new name and mascot, as there really is not much love left for the damn lizard since its return trip from the sun as some celestial solar serpent. It seems the sun only made it matter, and it's definitely bringing the heat. Unlike the softball team. This week, Site 19's Staring Statues will face off against Site 103's Critical Tomatoes, who I may remind you have been leading in the brackets. Can the Staring Statues catch up with the Critical Tomatoes? We'll see. All personnel are reminded that when filing reports, please be specific and carefully clarify your intentions when using the words terminate in reference to disciplinary action. Please define whether you mean to end the employment of or to end the life of said person. The HR department would like to point out that death as a means of punishment is inhumane and unreasonable. The HR department would also like to go on record that on occasion, death really is the only viable solution, but that is for them to decide, not you. Collaborating together, Team Batman Signal and Team Korea's Got Soul have proposed an exciting new plan to at least solve one of our sun-related disasters. Though the risk of cross-skip contamination is always present, it's not like we have much to lose at this point. In order to lessen the anomalous effects from the exposure to the sun, the teams have devised a method of worldwide overcast, focusing SCP-938 through SCP-1149. While limiting on their own, the plan suggests that when combined the two may... And then the sun went out.
The site is experiencing multiple Keter and Euclid level containment breaches. Full site lockdown initiated.
Welcome to Foundation After Midnight, the free, though thoroughly encrypted, Foundation radio show broadcasting to all the still secure facilities around the globe. We're bending time and space and clearance levels to bring you all the newest updates from around the Foundation. Has it been dark where you're at for over 48 hours? Have no fear, it's for sure midnight here in our emergency bunker. Even if it is several miles underground, below sea level. But I'm your host, DJ Skip, and you're listening to 93.0 FAM radio. And I am not really sure it's worth playing the mimetic sound agent, as there aren't that many of us left, and, well, proper clearance level be damned. So, anyway, here's just to fill in the space. In memory of the late Professor Bjornsson, we're going to play his 6:30 production.
Look at this, Skip. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think the containment's complete? Wouldn't you think we're the site that holds everything? Look at this trove, monsters untold. How many wonders can one sector hold? Looking around here you'd think, sure, it holds everything. There are Keters and Euclids aplenty. There are spheroids and X-Men galore. You want little misters? We've got 20. But who's cool? Not us yet. There's much more. We want to know where the GOIs are. We want to see 'em scrambling, rushing around the world. Bixby incoming. Oh, Clef. Shooting things up, don't hold too much back. Cells are required for testing, exploring, poking around with a... What's this thing again? Me. 920 walks, 96 runs. The sun launcher shoots things into the sun. Can't leave things be. Wandering free. Out in the world.
Such a catchy song. Hope it doesn't get stuck in your head all day, though if it did, it might be more pleasant than that dreaded ticking sound that many have reported in about. So, unfortunately, it seems the Foundation space program has failed completely. Most, if not all, of the skips we launched into the sun have continued their anomalous effects or have mutated into even greater threats. At the top of our important news today, Head Foundation Space Program researchers have announced that all personnel should move to the lower levels of their assigned sites and enter the provided XK level superstructures. Upon evacuating your site, please be sure to turn off all lights, empty out break room fridges, lock down all cells, and terminate all unassigned D-Class personnel. There are registered Z5 flares en masse as the last goodbye from our yellow sun, heading towards the planet at record speeds. A countdown clock has been started at 11 minutes. You have 11 minutes before waves of pictometer X-rays splash over the Earth, more than 10 times that of the Great Solar Storm of 1859, so we'll get one last flash of sun, and then darkness forever. So, I tell you to go outside, but that'd probably be too dangerous. We will continue as normal from here for as long as possible, so please stay tuned as you evacuate to your shelter. And now, we would like to take a moment to remember all of those brave men and women who have passed away in the line of duty this week.
The following are the names of Foundation personnel we lost to recent events. These brave men and women gave their lives, sometimes repeatedly, for the preservation of humankind and the world as we know it. They are remembered here as best as we can, in no particular order. Director Alicia Winters, Dr. Athena Gray, Subdirector Idoa Azaki, Researcher Lucy Chang, Dr. Todd King, Samuel Brow, Assistant Director Harold Schwartz, Dr. West Roth, Agent Elliot McNamara, Phil Kowalski, Dr. Jacques Abasolo, Edward Hitchington, Dr. Ferdinand Zanders, Researcher Sarah Lopez, Agent Naomi Rhodes, Communication Officer Annette B. Williams, Agent Jaron Mode, Dr. Pleasance Ludwig, Security Chief Dwight Strahan, Professor Anders Bjornson, Dr. Wesley Johnston, Nurse Tyler Faber, Junior Researchers Chris Pincus, Ryan Pincus, and Scott Pincus, Dr. Adam F. Rutherford, Dr. Adam R. Rutherford, Francis Hart, Professor Astrid, Jane McAllister, Dr. James Campbell, Intern Pascal Fox, Dr. Rosalie, Assistant Researcher Dr. Lyons, Containment Specialist Thompson, Dr. Trex, Intern Lucinda Witherspoon, Security Personnel Gordon Nunez, Site Director Roger Hawkins, Agent Michael Chard, Dr. Raisin Mill, Dr. Adams, Sergeant Joe Olsen, Intern Joel Second Deputy Researcher Miles Jacobs, Researcher Alexis, Assistant Junior Researcher Lisa Walsh, Private Eddie Schwartz, Intern Management Resource Director Josh Randall Flanders, Researcher Dr. Randall Flanders, Zoe Cooper, Researcher Dr. Coleman, Agent Dr. Loman, Assistant Junior Researcher Dr. Walsh.
Unfortunately, due to time constraints, we had to speed things up a bit during that as we read off the names, so, our utmost apologies about that. A recent change in policy has surviving staff grumbling. Administration has declared they will no longer be accepting containment procedures written in over 60% blood. A representative stated, "We are doing this for the health and safety of the administration department and its personnel." No word yet on if field notes covered in blood, but still legible, will be allowed or not. We would like to remind personnel you should check for rations in your bunker before resorting to cannibalism. Most sites are equipped to last a full year or more of total isolation from the outside world. However, if you do end up resorting to cannibalism, please refer to your Cannibalism NU kit. Also, be sure to use the provided microwaves before starting fires using discarded remnants of civilized society. The open flames will set off smoke detectors and bunker fire alarms, and I don't think I need to remind anyone how loud those can be. Please respect those in your neighboring bunkers and keep your shouting and chanting to a reasonable noise level. A bit of information my Foundation-provided psychologist allowed me to share. SCP-990 appeared to me in a dream last night. Our talk was short, but the mysterious man and I discussed the current events going on in the real world. To most of my questions, he simply responded with exasperated sighs, "I told them," or "I tried to warn you all, but no," or on a few occasions, "called it." He then told me goodbye and good luck, and that this would be the last time he'd be visiting us at the Foundation. When I asked him what he meant by that, he said it didn't really matter. When I asked him what he meant by that, he laughed and said something about always asking questions, but always being afraid of the answers. Something, the details are fuzzy. I then tried to ask him to at least tell us who he really was in the real world, but I couldn't hear him over a growing roar that turned out to be my alarm going off next to my bed. I immediately jumped out of bed and tried to write down as much as I could of the dream so I could share it with all the lovely remaining personnel still listening to FAM radio. It's not much, but I guess it's as good as a goodbye as we'll likely get from him. I guess if he's out there in the real world in one form or another, thank you for watching out for us. Sorry if we never really listened or never figured things out in time. Well, now it's time for Foundation Personnel. We try to feature our favorite melodies composed by those of our very own Foundation. This week I had a bit of a shortage of personnel free to make music, so this week's featured music comes from a D-class personnel named Lyriel. You're listening to FAM radio at 93. And this is The End Is Nigh. Music.
They've got some work for you. Please step out of the cell. Just follow me. We're authorized to kill any disobedient test subjects, so don't try anything stupid.
I once lived my life as a D-class personnel, and I can assure you it was living out. Supernatural objects and creatures were contained, and inmates used to test their strain. I was there when it happened, when it escaped. The SCP-173, and bitch was its name. It's lonely and it will try to hug you all the time, but since it's made of stone, it will break your fucking spine. Oh, on a certain day, those creatures broke free, trying to kill everyone on sight, including me. Soon it'll be over. Try to survive, don't wait and just die. Soon you'll be a soldier. Be brave and don't cry, and fight for your life, 'cause the end is nigh. Bodies lying everywhere, and some come back to life. Reason for that is the grass of 049. Don't believe what he says, he won't let you survive. He might be Dr. Death, but at least he is polite. There's a cry when you hear it, please avert your eyes, else this drama queen might be your demise. 096 is tall and has a face filled with disgust. Run away, or else he's the thing you'd see at last. Oh, on a certain day, those creatures broke free, trying to kill everyone on sight, including me. Soon it'll be over. Try to survive, don't wait and just die. Soon you'll be a soldier. Be brave and don't cry, and fight for your life, 'cause the end is nigh. You ever see a naked man crawling through the walls? Don't approach him, except you got the balls. You'll recognize him by his breath and his creepy grin. He will trap you in his prison if you touch his skin. One big monstrosity I haven't encountered yet is a reptile-like creature supposed to be undead. Its roar can shake the earth and it quickly changes size. If he was Godzilla as a zombie, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, on a certain day, those creatures broke free, trying to kill everyone on sight, including me. Soon it'll be over. Try to survive, don't wait and just die. Soon you'll be a soldier. Be brave and don't cry, and fight for your life, 'cause the end is nigh.
You know too much to
Oh, that's it? Okay. Remember, if you would like your song featured on our show, email us at scp93.famradio@gmail.com. And now, back to the news. Next week... Next week... Damn it. Next we would... 1 second. Okay. There we go. So, as I was saying, what was I saying again? Yes. Here's something. We've had a number of researchers call in asking about updates on skips that were launched into the sun back when the Foundation space program sounded like a good idea. Normally, that information would be classified, or at the least, not publicly released within the Foundation. But since things are, pretty much shot to... Well, since it looks like everything is going out the window, let's see what some of our friends are up to. Let's see. The most popular skips were SCP-173 and SCP-096, both of which we are happy to inform you successfully went off into the sun without a hitch. Or, relatively speaking, without a hitch. 096 is either dead or forever hidden behind the intense light of the sun, according to our top theorist. 173, when hurled at the sun, whose surface heat, I may remind you, keeps metal in a gaseous form, dissolved. Seems like the killer rock, unlike the softball team with its namesake, could not withstand the heat. Speaking of hotline call-ins, I see we have a message. Glad to see at least some of the site out there is still active in receiving us. Well, usually one of my assistants take those, but since the site-wide evacuation and lockdown, it's just me and the answering machine today. Let's see, how do we... Okay, let's see who called us.
Hi, this is Research Assistant Hadley of Site 22. Just want to say, me and my buds are real big fans of the show, and we listen to it every time it's on, and it's great when we're analyzing. There's just a fun problem. If you could possibly bring this to attention, our radios have started screaming during the middle of your broadcast. Now, I'm not sure if that's like an intentional joke that's running over there, but, it's a little unsettling, especially when, we're dealing with some highly corrosive and potentially deadly materials, and we're just jolted by these screams. So, yeah, can you please help me figure out what the hell is going on? Yeah? Yeah. Well, 1 second. Yeah? Oh, of course not. What are you talking about? Oh, sorry. I gotta go. The radio's bleeding.
Oh. Well, we don't usually take maintenance calls, but we'll see about sending someone down for that. Remember, you can always call in to our radio hotline at 512-937-2346. That's 512-937-2346. Or you can leave us a message, and we'll see if we can get back to you. Maybe. Now, let's see. I have to have something here. Aha! Here's some Foundation poetry from actual personnel. Let's give this a read. Here we go. XK by very real researcher Ruitz. You need to secure your database, you idiots. Duchamp. We took the damn thing and wiped the blood and shit and piss and tears from its face. Nothing was beneath. Light shone through the cracks. Reality itself bent to the wills of madmen. Only words remain. Sliced through severed stones. Redundancies enough to keep back a hidden king. Trees in the forest. Deep uncertainty. Undirected hatred, fear, and loathing shapes it all, and remains unshaped. Fresh porphyria, dry and wet, and old and new and everything in between, solemnly inept. A few swift stabbings, 10,000 steel doors broken down to scraps of concepts, moderately gnawed. Knowledge lies in parts, puzzles upon ciphers upon riddles, open doors, revolving in place. Eternity now, all clocks and time compressed to an instant variance, cannot change again. Warning personnel, pending XK class end of the world scenario. Thank you and farewell. That was, not nearly as cheerful as I was expecting, but, good on them for, expressing themselves with such words. It seems the official word has just come down. The Temporal Anomaly Research, Defense, and Integration Station has been activated. A chain reaction has begun, set in motion by the O5 Council members that will launch us through time and space, back to a point before the Foundation space program was put into effect. All personnel are to stand by as we complete the reality-wide jump. You may experience some discomfort or nausea from the dimensional shift, so be advised. We are suggesting turning off all cellular devices and electronics as they may interfere with the jump. It is suggested that you try to write down as much as possible during this time using whatever material you have on whatever surfaces you can. We do not know how much will survive the reset, but hey, what have we got to lose? The walls are beginning to fade now. They're still there, but everything can be seen through, if that makes sense. Not that much of this does, but now things are slowly becoming transparent. My coffee cup just disappeared out of my hand. I can see through my control sets before me, and it's likely they are still there, but no longer visible. Things are becoming softer. I'm not sure how to explain it past that. Well, the skin on my hand has just now faded, though I can still feel it, though faintly. I can see my muscles and bones underneath. My chair has just faded out completely, and though I was still sitting in it, I can't help but get up out of it. There's just not much left around me anymore, but I can still somewhat feel things. There was a darkness, but even that is now fading to white. You're all okay? I think we can pull this together.
Those of you joining us, I'm your host, DJ Skip, and you're listening to SCP 93.0 FAM radio. And I promise, today is a memetic kill agent-free day. The time is 0200 hours, and we have successfully reverted the timeline back by 1 year, 2 months, 5 days, 6 hours, and 4 minutes. Please adjust your clocks accordingly. For tonight's announcements, we have decided to abort the Foundation space program before it even began. Please report any overlaps or dimensional differences immediately to the Department of Extra-Universal Affairs. As per usual aborted timeline protocol, personnel not essential for temporal repairs get the day off. Enjoy our continued survival as a species, and remember to hug your loved ones, or the Foundation-provided equivalent. We have survived to secure, contain, and protect another day. On a random note, I'm not sure if the days since the last containment breach counter should be reset to 0 or not, or if we should count the days without a containment breach that had taken place before we jumped back in our timeline, or should we include the 24-hour period when all of us were in a coma when reality was shifting? On that note, as we continue forward through the days, weeks, months, and year we've already lived through, be sure to be considerate of others this time around. For example, if you got to attend one of the insightful and eventful seminars, such as the improvisational acting and SCP containment, or the introduction seminar for extra universal operations before the reset, please allow new personnel the chance to attend. Besides the fact that it allows new attendees to learn from the speakers, it's actually not that cool to know the answers to all the questions before they are asked. Seriously, you'll look like a total nerd, and no one will be impressed. I know one little gel that is happy the Foundation has survived to another day. SCP-999, the gelatinous tickle monster. The little gel is happily scooting around Site-17, cooing and tickle wrestling everyone in sight. Morale is up considerably there, and it is rumored that the little orange gel will be loaned out to a few other sites to assist in adjustment to the timeline reset. Coming to your ears next is a song inspired by everyone's favorite hugging slime, titled simply SCP-999 by Personnel Jack T. Herbert.